Jay Cutler, 4 veces campeón del Mr. Olympia y una leyenda en el mundo del culturismo, conocido por su increíble tamaño, su definición muscular y estética que lo llevaron a ganar al mismísimo Ronnie Coleman en la tarima más importante. Pero, ¿quién es realmente? Veremos a Jay Cutler en sus humildes comienzos hasta convertirse en un multimillonario y uno de los mejores culturistas de la historia.
Personal ambition is worth fighting for. It really is something that if you don't fight for, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And if you regret it, you can be an unhappy person. So you got to fight for peace of mind.
Man, there was no world. I shut everything out. So you put on the blinders and you have tunnel vision on what that ultimate goal is. And I didn't want to go back after it and say I should have done or could have done this. I trained my ass off. I was always on track with everything. I mean, everything was structured. I lived in a fucking box in order to be the best. Bodybuilding is consistency, like everything. It has to be with the eating, the training, the sleep patterns, the lifestyle is part of my arsenal. It was like everything. You guys remember, you see the video where I actually ripped the towel and I put the headband, like the Rambo headband on there. And that was just a piece of shit towel. I ripped a piece off of it and I tied it on my head because I used to sweat really bad when I trained. That was the video where it all started. And that was training for my first Miss Olympia. I was 25 years old.
Our life is a constant battle. I truly believe it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, because that's really what does make the difference in your life. It really does.
A lot of it's the mental capacity to go to the gym and stay consistent, just like anything. Like you just never stop. I challenged myself every day when I went to the gym and said, okay, can I be stronger this week? Can I do this movement and feel better about it than the week prior? What challenges can I face?
Challenge. I love it. I love being told no.
What motivates you, For me, it's like challenges that people don't think are attainable. Intensity thrives on how quick you move through and how much. If your mind stays continuous with set after set after set, that's what makes you better. Was every day be able to look at myself in the mirror and see what I'm building.
I want to come back and do the things that I do best and really push it as far as humanly possible that I can do. I like the challenge, that's all. I truly believe, and people throw the word around dreams, it's all about dreams, and by the way, dreams cost nothing, they're free. The hard part is just keeping them going, and please keep them going, because we're here for one simple reason. He believed in the dream, I believed in the dream, and our dream come true, and there's no reason every one of yours can't either.
Corre el año 1973. En Estados Unidos, más concretamente en el estado de Massachusetts, nos dirigimos a un pueblo muy pequeño llamado Sterling, donde Jay pasó la mayor parte de su infancia, rodeado de un muy buen ambiente familiar y que sobre todo todos tenían una predisposición al deporte y más concretamente a los deportes de fuerza. De ahí la pasión que Jay Cutler desarrolló sobre estos deportes.
Like from the very beginning, I mean, I have pictures when I was flexing when I was 4 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old.
Reason being, I grew up on a farm back in central Massachusetts. I developed a pretty solid physique from working.
I started working at the age of 11. We actually had a concrete business. My parents were separated when I was really young, and my brothers used to drag me to work. Like I would work after school, school vacations, weekends, anytime I had free time, sometimes before school, we worked around the clock. And that's really what kind of started the early days of the mentality of like having that commitment to something. And then of course, the ruggedness of doing concrete, carrying concrete forms. I developed a crazy physique into my teenage years. I was 11, 12, 13. I was always like the most muscular kid.
I used to watch these kids on vacations, go on their trips and whatever else. And then their weekends, they'd have to just do whatever they did. And I was just jealous. Why do I have to work?
I used to pray every morning to please get me through this day because I hated it so much. And I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do my whole life.
I actually didn't start training until I was 18 years old, but in high school I played football. I was just really limited what I could do for sports. The track team wanted me really bad, but I couldn't participate in a lot of the weekend events because I was working after school, weekends, and school vacations in the concrete business.
I was the youngest of 7 kids, and I was always inspired by like Superman, Batman, and Captain America, those kind of things. I was always intrigued by the muscle. I would probably say the first influence, I was 12, and my sister's boyfriend had a bodybuilding book, and it featured the '82 Olympia. Chris Dickerson won that. And I remember seeing this physique, and I was like, man, this is unbelievable.
And that's when I said I want to look like this.
One of my friends, when I was 15, took me to Gold's Gym, and we worked out, and he was super into bodybuilding. And I think that I kind of was like, wow, it's amazing what you can do getting under these weights. And I made a commitment that when I graduated high school, I was going to join the gym and start my journey towards lifting weights and developing a better body.
I decided at 18 I was pursuing a degree in criminal justice. I was going to college, and I stopped working the concrete. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to dedicate myself to the gym. I joined the gym my 18th birthday. I saved up $300 and I put a membership down at Gold's Gym in Worcester, Massachusetts. And that's when I started my quest in bodybuilding. Although I didn't know anything about lifting weights, I kind of sat and watched and learned. I tried to get a lot of people to help me, but no one would really give me the attention because I was just a young kid that, had a decent physique, but no one really wanted to give me the advice.
When I joined that gym and I was there from 8 to 10 at night, all those stresses of like the family, the school, what I was going to do in life went away while I was lost in that weight training. It was the combination of doing concrete from 11 to 18, where I was just working nonstop. It really tore my body down.
I hated my dad and my brothers because I remember them dragging me out of bed. I mean, I would be like hungover and they'd be like, you have to get up and go to work at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, I just got in an hour ago.
And so when I actually started going to college and I would be in class and I'd have more time to rest, and then I started eating the food because I didn't have any kind of nutrition program at all when I was in high school. My body exploded. I put on 50 pounds like the first 6 months of training, so I knew I had something different.
But I was also a beast, and I benched 315 in high school like without even really lifting weights.
And I made improvements so quick. Someone coaxed me into competing in a show, and the first time I got on stage, I was hooked, and I placed second at my first show. Right then, I started getting like a lot of attention from the outskirts of Worcester, Massachusetts, and next thing you know, this guy Lou Zawick, who ran American Muscle magazine in California, started calling the gym because the word got out that there was this up-and-coming young kid, and for some reason, he called Chris Aceto, who was about 2 hours away, who's a very well-known nutritionist in our business. And he said, hey, I want you to take a look at this young kid. He's in Worcester. He came down and took a look at me. He called Lou and he said, the kid looks pretty good, whatever. And he kind of wrote me out a diet plan. And I followed that for 6 months. And for some reason, Chris came back through 6 months later. Lou said, hey, this guy's making good progress. And Chris Decidido came back through and he called Lou Zewick and he said, holy shit, this kid's going to be Mr. Olympia.
And we're speaking backstage here with team competitor in the heavyweight division, Jay Cutler. Jay, it's very nice to have you in the contest today.
I graduated college and I went to the nationals around the time I was graduating. I actually skipped my graduation to go compete in the nationals. Yes. Wow. That's the best teenager in the country.
And I did T-Nationals against Branch Warren, lost the overall to him, but won the heavyweights. And that was like the time where I said, I want to be a professional bodybuilder.
And from that forward, I was like, hey, I have something.
Después de que Jay Cutler pasara su adolescencia, este se dedicaría 100% al culturismo. Cumplía sus 18 años, que para su país todavía era menor de edad, y no fue hasta 4 años después, en 1995, que se decidiría a competir. Y esto tiene una sencilla razón, y es que Jay era precisamente muy inteligente.
Representing Gold's Gym in Visalia, here is Jay Cutler.
E inteligente, ¿por qué precisamente? Y es que nos vamos a remontar a su época, en una época en donde no había redes sociales, en la que carecía la información y entonces no era tan sencillo conocer a los rivales, ni tampoco eran tan alcanzables las mejores rutinas, ni los alimentos clave para que tu abdomen se vea plano. Es decir, Jay Cutler tuvo que meterse de lleno a aprender en las sombras para que cuando saliera a la luz su físico deslumbrara la tarima.
A lot of anticipation for this man, Jay Cutler from Worcester, Massachusetts, his first time at the Nationals.
It's hard to believe it's his first time at the Nationals. I mean, he has a complete physique, the shape.
Con la mentalidad de Jay Cutler esto cobraba sentido, ya que Jay quería ser alguien importante, quería dejar huella en el culturismo y en su vida en general, y por ello no iba a presentarse con un físico mediocre. Por ello esperó, sudó y trabajó hasta conseguir un físico que él sabía que iba a ser el campeón, y así lo hizo. En 1995 debutó y ganó su primera competición, convirtiéndose así en culturista profesional.
When he won the Nationals in 1996, I said, Jay, congratulations, enjoy it. You're a blocky white guy. You're not going to do that well in the pro ranks. He says, I know, I'm a blocky white guy.
Bien, Jay Cutler ya era profesional y solo le faltaba una cosa: llegar al Mr. Olympia y ganarlo. Lo más fácil. Dejando bromas fuera, Jay Cutler se enfrentaba a la generación más dura de culturismo que hemos conocido, y es que nada más y nada menos que el en ese momento campeón Dorian Yates era imbatible, ganando los Mr. Olympias del 92 hasta el 97.
I always knew that I was cut out to do something different. I didn't relate to the circumstances and the people around me and their view of what life was.
He was doing things over in England that I admired, you know, that cold environment, that hardcore approach, you know, the grungy, tore off sweatshirts, just, you know, sweat dripping with the old school headbands around, the old equipment, half of it's tore up. You look at those pictures and you're like, man, if this guy's doing this and he's creating that body with this tells you what kind of spirit, what kind of thought process he's going through, you know, because he's going to make it work.
What I had was my feet firmly on the ground, training in this dungeon, which is what got me to that place. Mr. Olympia should be a standout. It's like not a little bit better than the other guys, standout. It's almost like I kind of knew deep inside what the destiny was and what I had to do.
He was just there, that hard statue of a man that you wanted to say, wow, you know what, this guy is so hard, it's like a rock.
Brought a whole new standard of hardness and freakiness.
the shadow. You can't break it.
It's got to be somebody, and I don't think anyone's training harder than me. And I always had that inside of me, like, I don't think anyone could have done any more. So that gives you a lot of strength.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes.
Something inside me, I've got to do this, and every day I've got to give 100% on that day of what I can do.
You know, not only have I got the genetics for the sport, I'm also training efficiently, so I'm able to progress all the time.
He wasn't going to stop. He was a train.
Hardcore muscle. From England, the reigning Mr. Olympia, Historia,
And every time you saw him, he was just blowing up, getting bigger and bigger. He took the game to another whole new level with that back.
I prefer that people didn't know anything, so I'd just be like an enigma that they would be kind of in the back of their mind.
And just train there and nobody knows what's going on, and I'm working day in, day out all year round to improve my physique, and then I can pop up and everybody's going to be saying, wow, what happened to this guy, you know, because they haven't seen me all year, so they're going to see the improvement.
You start getting comfortable, start getting relaxed, and then you get some hungry, nasty guy from the ghetto coming up, and I wanted to stay. Mentally, I was still there.
That's my competition, you know, trying to better last year's model.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reigning Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates.
He trained to be that way, and he trained so hard, heavy, and intense. His conditioning, he was second to none. It's like this thing, when people train, everyone thinks they train hard, doing it top notch, they're intense. They have no idea what intensity is about.
The guys say that to me. They say, you know, we went the extra mile because we were chasing you all the time. But we know that you're just pushing all the time, so we got to be pushing. We got the shadow looming over us. It was all business, and we can't take him out. And he told me that. He said I couldn't stand too near to you because it was like almost like a force field. Dorian Yates went on stage with an absolute feeling of indestructibility because I knew I'd done the work, and people could feel that, you know.
I remember when he walked out on stage, and as soon as he walked out on stage and stopped and turned, I'm like, this is over. He was so far ahead of everybody.
He has a heart of a lion. And I doubt if anybody trained harder than this guy.
Well, I'm just taking it 1 year at a time, and as long as I'm motivated and I'll continue to improve and I'm enjoying the sport, then I'll every year I've improved, I made improvements and got better. Front and back lat spread. I mean, even if I was out of shape, nobody could come close on those two poses. Nobody.
The Dorian Yates.
Dorian changed the game. He ushered in the mass market.
Pero es que en ese entonces ya había muchos culturistas con un nivel impresionante, entre ellos Shawn Ray, Kevin LeBron, Flex Wheeler, Nasser El Sambati, Lee Price, Paul Dillett o Chris Cormier. Unos culturistas que hoy en día de verdad que alucinaríamos si los viésemos salir a tarima con la calidad que nos pueden ofrecer. Lo bonito era que esto no era el final, sino que parecía el principio de algo grande, ya que llegaban estrellas como nuestro querido Jay Cutler o un tal Ronnie Coleman, quienes juntos tendrían una de las rivalidades más icónicas del Mr. Olympia. Vamos paso por paso, que todavía nos hemos quedado en la década de los 90. Nos situamos precisamente en el año 1998, el año en el que el campeón Dorian Yates deja vacío el trono, se retira y ahora mismo el campeón está por decidirse. Una batalla totalmente frenética. Flex Wheeler o Ronnie Coleman, uno de los dos se iba a llevar el trofeo. Por un lado tenemos la estética, una cintura extremadamente pequeña y una sinergia entre músculos muy bonita. Y por el otro lado tenemos la masividad, la definición y el término que hoy en día conocemos como freak, un culturista lleno y rodeado de músculos, un poquito más parecido a lo que era Dorian Yates, y por esto el campeón de 1998 sería Ronnie Coleman.
Thank you, fellas. Back in line, please.
Pero no quiero dejar pasar esta oportunidad para enseñaros lo que era un posing en estos años, lo que era mostrar su físico sin plantarte delante del público y simplemente hacer un doble bíceps.
Silent dreams begin to can hear hearts entwined this time of year. Starlit skies that guide our way. Night becomes a gentle day. In the notes we find our peace. Melodies that never cease. Eternal echoes in the night. Violins make everything right. In the music we unite. Life is a pure delight. Light shadows softly play. On this path we choose to stay. Every string a tale to tell. In this dance we know so well. Every note a breeze in spring. Every touch a song to sing. Let the violins take flight. In their sound we find the light. Eternal echoes in the night. Violins make everything right. In the music we unite. Like this, a pure delight. Softly play. On this path we choose to stay.
Coming from a guy that won almost every show I ever did, but then competing, it was a whole next level getting to the pros. I was kind of like, wow, you know, it's a big eye-opener for me. So when I started competing against the guys that I idolized in the magazines, I realized, okay, I need to step my game up. So after 1998 was that night of champions. I finished 11th. I said, I'm going to go back to training. I built a home gym. I built a crazy home gym. I spent like $100,000 on equipment, and I was training in my house. And I came back and I finished third at the Pro Ironman and fourth at the Arnold Classic being the second biggest show.
Y así es, Jay Cutler se presentó al Arnold Classic. Bueno, más bien lo invitaron al Arnold Classic, ya que esta es la única manera de asistir a este campeonato. Pero ahí ya empezó a despuntar con los demás atletas y muchos de ellos lo reconocieron como una joven promesa, entre ellos un joven Dexter Jackson y Milos Arcev que estaban ahí a pie del cañón.
So I kind of got in the mix a little bit there, won some prize money, and I was qualified for the Mr. Olympia, which was obviously huge then. I mean, I was one of those guys that like, man, if I could just get on Olympia stage.
My goal at the Olympia this year was to basically duplicate or better myself from the Arnold Classic Ironman earlier in the year, and I think I've done that.
1999, your first Olympia, you're walking on stage at 25. Tell me how that felt.
Man, I thought I was going to stand next to Ronnie Coleman and challenge him. I really did. And when I stood in the back and I got last call out, like it was only one call, and I was devastated. I mean, I went back to the hotel room at Mandalay Bay, and I remember Chris in the room and, you know, my ex-wife Carrie, and we were like, am I good enough? So we got over that, and I said, you know what, forget it. I had moved to California right after that. Joe Weider, actually, who brought Schwarzenegger, moved me out to California, kind of said, well, I want you closer to the magazines. Why don't you come out here? You can make more money. So I moved to Orange County.
En el año 99, Jay Cutler iría al Olympia, pero no sería un físico tan competitivo como para entrar en un top 5 siquiera.
Did you forget to give him water?
Ay, los posings de la época, simplemente maravilloso. Pero como hemos dicho antes, Jay todavía no era tan competitivo para el nivel que había. Y esto nos lleva a tener que avanzar unos cuantos años para llegar al año 2001. En el Arnold Classic, donde compitió Ronnie Coleman y para muchos con el mejor físico de toda su carrera, ganándolo así el 1-1 a Chris Cormier y proclamándose campeón del Arnold Classic. La verdad que en el ese entonces 3 veces Mr. Olympia parecía totalmente imbatible, y no os engañéis, así iba a seguir unos cuantos años más.
Ronnie Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman.
Will King Kamali and Dennis James switch places, please? Side triceps. To the front, abdominal and thigh.
And presenting the cash award from Physical Magazine, Scott Johnson. Please take those awards to Chris Cormier. And presenting the coveted championship Arnold Classic trophy for the first time, a 2000 Hummer from General Nutrition Corporation, Jim Yarshin. And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, China, and the Honorable Mayor Coleman from Columbus. To our current champion, Ronnie Coleman.
Well, first of all, let me just say, Ronnie, thank you very much for competing and not going with the advice that some people gave you not to compete.
El Olympia es una competición muy complicada, tanto es así que los atletas que quedan en primeros puestos del Olympia no tienen que competir el resto del año para preparar bien esa competición, pero Ronnie decidió salir también en el Arnold Classic y comenzar así el año 2001 ganando la segunda competición más importante del mundo, pero ¿a qué precio? Ya que por culpa de haber alcanzado un punto tan extremo y haberse esforzado para ganar esta competición, le costó muchísimo salir en el Olympia, y él mismo dijo que experimentó que su cuerpo solo llega al punto máximo una vez por año.
Yeah. And some people arguably say that might have been your best look.
And I found out the hard way that the body only peaks once a year.
That Ronnie did the Arnold in 2001, and then he came in and he did the Olympia. And obviously, it's really tough to double peak. That's why, as a standing
big body,
yes, especially a big body.
So we literally have, we have basically a rebound phase where we get the weight up, go right back into prep again. We get done with the Arnold. We basically do the exact same thing and go back into the Olympia prep again. So it was like prep. And eventually by the time we got to the Olympia that year, the body was just fighting everything.
Vamos a ver, eres el campeón del Mr. Olympia 3 veces consecutivas y estás defendiendo el título ante probablemente la generación con más nivel de toda la historia. Y esto Ronnie lo sabía, pero no podía permitirse salir ni siquiera un poco peor, porque el resto venían pisando fuerte, y entre ellos un jovencísimo Jay Cutler.
I wasn't ready to beat him yet, but what I did is, Chris said, listen, take the full year in 2001, and I want you to train and I want you to eat. And I want you to eat not on that strict diet. I want you to have your burgers and fries, which I did every single day, I'm not gonna lie.
Dad, the Olympia, we gotta get to work.
And literally I went back to work. I trained, I was doing twice a day workouts then. I would do 2 body parts a day, large body part in the morning and a smaller one in the afternoon. I was the more dedicated guy than anyone, I believe, at that time, because I would eat my 6-7 meals a day. I didn't do anything social. I would eat, sleep, and train like I was on a time clock.
Como veis, Jay Cutler se tomó el año 2001 como un año de crecimiento, porque él sabía que si quería optar a ese premio tenía que vencer a la mejor generación de culturistas, y esto se hacía con un tamaño impresionante. Por ello, su dedicación tenía que ser máxima. Con esto entendemos que Jay era una persona extremadamente meticulosa, inteligente y consecuente con lo que tenía. Sus objetivos eran claros: ser el mejor culturista del planeta, y no iba a parar hasta conseguir su objetivo. Por ello, ahora nos adentramos en la recta final, en la recta donde Jay Cutler tenía que conseguir su objetivo, un físico a la altura de los más grandes, y había que batir a ese titán, al mejor culturista de la historia. Por ello, no os perdáis el vídeo de la semana que viene, porque aquí es donde comienza la carrera al estrellato de Jay Cutler, el príncipe del culturismo.